Hello everyone, today let's solve the problem number 620, not boring movies, right? So what the question states here, we have to write an SQL query to retrieve movies from the cinema table. So here we have the cinema table, you can clearly see. We have to write the SQL query to retrieve the movies from. So we have to retrieve the movies from the cinema table accordingly with the conditions that they have given or the requirements. So first requirement is here have an odd number ID. So here cinema we have to retrieve the movies such that it is having odd numbered ID. First requirement. Second requirement is have a description that is not boring. So here it shouldn't have the description as boring. So this one, in this case we shouldn't consider this one boring, this one, right? So odd ID should be odd and description should not be boring. And the third requirement is it should be sorted in descending order by rating. Here you can clearly see rating 9.1 first and second one is 8.9. Here in this case you can clearly see 5 and 1 we have both are odd numbers, right? So based on the your ID and rating, both based on the this one descending order. Here 5 comes first and 1 comes second. 9.1 comes first and 8.9 comes second. Here description shouldn't be boring. So description shouldn't contain boring, right? Here. So we have interesting and great 3D. Yeah, movie name can be anything. House card and wall. So this one, I hope they have clearly mentioned in the output table what should be the output, right? So here in the example, so here this one we got 5 and 1 basically, right? 5 and 1 we got as output. So 1 and 5 we got as output. While we sort, we have to sort that one in the descending order. So 5 and 1 will be going but nothing but house card and war. Here in this case, description will be interesting and great 3D, and the rating will be 9.1 and 8.9, right? So here we have 3 movies with odd numbered IDs. In this case, yeah, that's what they have explained: 1, 3 and 5. So we are going with only odd IDs first of all, right? So we are ignoring 3 because we have boring description. We have the description as boring. So whatever, and if the description if we have boring, we have to ignore that. They have clearly mentioned in the question. So in this case we'll consider 1, 3, 5 and we will ignore 3, and we will go with 1 and 5, and when we sort that one in the descending order we get 5. That's what we need to return in the output. So we have 3 movies with odd numbered 1, 3 and 5. The movie with ID equals 3 is boring, so we do not include it in the number they have explained. So that's what I have explained, right? So I hope the question is completely clear. What we need to do is completely clear as well. Easy to understand, right? They have clearly mentioned question. They have clearly explained with the example. So what we will be doing first, let's discuss the approach and then finally write the query. First, as usual, let's discuss the approach. So here the first step here is we will filter all the odd IDs. So when I say we will filter all the odd IDs, we'll be making use of mod of id comma 2 equals 1 here. Just keep this in mind. This is very important as we need to filter only odd IDs. In the example, we considered 1, 3 and 5. We ignored 3 because it was having the description 5, right? So they have clearly mentioned in the question that we need to consider only odd IDs that we saw in the example. Same thing. First we have to filter odd IDs here. We will be making use of mod of id comma 2 equals 1 because we are filtering odd IDs here. So this condition will be making use of just to select movies with the odd numbered IDs. So that's what. So I hope this is clear, right? So the first step, easy to understand. The second one here is we will exclude the boring description. We have to exclude the boring description. So we will be making use of description, this keyword, and boring. So this one will be making use of here. This one, right? So this one is used to exclude, right? So description will be going with this one because we have to exclude if the description contains the boring keyword, right? So we will be making use of description, this one boring, to remove the rows where the description is boring. I hope this is clear. The final step here is we will sort by rating. We have to sort this one in the descending order, right? So we will order the result in the descending order. Whenever we have to sort, we will be going with the order by clause, right? So order the result in descending order by rating. So this is very important. So these are the 3 steps that we need to follow. This is the approach that we'll be going with. First step here is first step here is filter odd IDs, second step here is exclude boring descriptions, and third one here is the third step here is sort by rating. So simple to understand, right? So let's try to articulate, or let's try to implement the same thing in the form of query, right? So I hope the approach is completely clear. Now let's start writing the query. So here let's start writing the query. So I'll just go with here, select star from cinema. Here this is fine. So we have to select only the odd number ID. So we have already discussed this one. We will be making use of mod of id comma 2 equals 1. So I'll just be going with the where keyword here. Let's go with mod of id comma 2 equals 1. This is what we have discussed in the approach. So I hope this is clear. We have to select, we are selecting only odd numbered IDs here. So the next step after selecting only odd numbered IDs, if you remember the second step, we have to exclude movies with a boring description. So in this case, we went with that symbol description, that symbol boring, right, for the exclude symbol and boring. So that's what we'll be doing. So I'll just be going with and keyword here. So if you remember, this is what we saw, right? So exclude this one, boring. This is fine. So the final step here is, if you remember, we have to sort the results by rating in descending order. So as we have discussed, we'll be making use of order by clause here. So here this will be rating descending order. I'll just give you a DESC, right? So this is it for the query. So let me hit the run button. I hope this works. Let's see. So runtime error. We have an check the manual to this one. We have error. So let's check the line number 6 here. And description we have given correct here, right? Oh, I have given here this one. Let me delete this one, semicolon. So let me hit the run button. This is correct itself. Let's see. Yeah, you can clearly see here now the test case, the sample test case is getting passed. So let me hit the submit button quickly. So I hope it works for all the test cases. Let's see. So yeah, you can clearly see all the test cases are getting passed here. Means the query works absolutely correct on this case, right? I hope whatever query that we have written is completely clear. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.